Hi, everybody. Coach Allison back with week 37, Defy Aging. Okay, this week we are back to one big circuit, so everyone will be working together, rotating around our purple turf space. We have 6 exercises in this circuit, pardon me, and we're going to go around that for 4 rounds. And let's see, the first 2 rounds are timed at 45 seconds on, 35 seconds off. And the second 2 rounds are timed at 35 seconds on, 25 seconds off. So our second 2 rounds are going to be a little bit shorter. Okay, I think that's about it for our explanation of the routine. Let's go through the 6 exercises. All right, everybody. The first station is a stability ball seated step over. So these are the stability balls. And the step over component is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. So the cones are nice because they're less likely to tip over, but the club I'm at doesn't have cones. If you do have the cones, the coaches will know this, of course. We need them to be those shorter cones. I think they're like 6 or 8 inches. We certainly don't want like a standard street cone for this. I think that was probably obvious. You place one on either side of your feet. So I'm going to have one on my left, one on my right. And you want to have the cones, you can, when it's your turn at the station, you can place your feet where you need to make this happen, or you can reach down and move the cones a little bit, but you do want them to start kind of right, right in the center of the side of your foot. And we're just going to step over them. But the key is to make sure that you are actually going up and over and you're not kind of sneaking your foot around the front of the cone or the kettlebell. And again, as you see, I'm using kettlebells and that works just fine. Do try to avoid using a dumbbell though. They just aren't very stable on the turf. They'll tip over too easily. So it's going to look like this. You're going to step up and over and we're going to alternate feet, legs each time. If needed, you can place your hands on the ball. That's kind of a good place to start when this is maybe new for you. Try to remove your hands. Work towards that, removing your hands from the ball, maybe just putting them kind of up here for a little, kind of helps you feel more balanced, kind of like a tightrope walker putting their arms out. I feel like kind of keeping your hands in for this helps a little bit. But anyway, as you notice, I was just going up and over, right? So what it looks like if you're going, if the cone or the kettlebell is too far back and you're kind of swinging your foot in front, see how I'm kind of sneaking my foot in front? You might do it subconsciously or unconsciously without realizing it. The only reason that's not necessarily bad or anything, what that does though is it doesn't force you to have to pick up your foot and have to actually lift and go over. So you're really just not lifting your foot up as high, not engaging those thigh muscles and those hip flexor muscles to lift and go over. And that's what this exercise is doing. It's trying to train those muscles to lift and go over something. So picture lifting, needing to lift your leg to step up and go upstairs or step up and over to go into your car, stuff like that. The stability ball is definitely challenging because it's not very stable, right? It's going to roll around. You can definitely do this sitting on something like these boxes, sitting on a bench, something more stable. If the ball is maybe not stable enough for you, this would definitely be the hardest way to do it. So your coaches will have another option ready for you nearby, already set up and ready to go should you want to use something a little more stable. Okay, so that's our stability ball step over. Next station, shoulder exercise with quite a bit of stability. Half kneel, single arm overhead press. So I think many of you know our half kneel position. Both knees, as you can see, are bent to 90 degrees. So watch that in the front leg. We don't want less than 90. We don't want more than 90. Got a weight just in one hand, and it's going to be in the side of the leg that's down. So my right knee is down, weight in my right hand. We're going to turn palm forward. Last week, if you might recall, if you were with us, we did some presses with the palms with a neutral grip. So let's add the variety this week and do palm forward. Okay, so palm forward, and we're going to do an overhead press, shoulder press. There you go. So another option, if kneeling is either for any reason too uncomfortable on the knee, we can't get down to the ground because of maybe a surgery or a restriction, any reason at all. We're going to turn this into a staggered stance. So I'm taking it from here to here. So now the leg that was down is now the leg that's back. That's how you know which side to hold the weight with. So from the side, you can see my staggered stance, soft bend in both knees. Okay, 2 options there. Since there are 4 rounds, the first 2 rounds are timed the same, and the second 2 rounds are timed the same. And when you're kneeling, it's a little cumbersome and it wastes a lot of time to switch sides. You have to put the weight down, switch your legs, get the weight back up on your side. It wastes a good amount of time. So we're just going to do round 1 all on one side, round 2 all on the other side, and then round 3 back to that first side, round 4 that second side. So you end up being even in the end, and we don't have to worry about switching sides in the middle. Next station, time for some legs. We're going to do an alternating narrow and wide squat, or alternating wide, narrow squat, depending on which one you start with. Okay, this one is actually a lot of coordination, so it's going to work that as well as our legs. So we're going to start with a narrow squat. Narrow squat is feet close together. They don't have to be 100% touching, but they're very, very close. You can touch if you want. I like to put them just very, very, very close. So a narrow squat, you still, looking at from the side, you still want to keep those hips drawing back first, and your knees, you don't want to let them stick out too far. So a narrow squat wouldn't be like my knees sticking way out. And okay, so instead of this, my hips and butt are still going to go back, kind of still sitting into like there's an imaginary chair. All that's still the same as a normal squat. You might notice you're not able to get as low with this, and that's totally fine. You're also going to notice you're going to feel a little more pressure by the lower quad towards your knee, also normal. So how we're going to do this, nice, like I said, alternating narrow and wide squat. So I'm going to do one of these. Oh yeah, also watch out for knees not drifting out. So you have to kind of engage these inner thigh muscles to keep the legs squeezing inward, because they're going to kind of want to do this. So keep the knees tracking right over your ankles. Okay, forgot to say that. So one narrow squat, then I'm going to pick a leg, doesn't matter which one, step out into a normal squat, or for all intents and purposes here, it's a wide squat. Do a normal squat, step back in, narrow. Now my other leg's going to go out. Okay, and step back in. So I'm alternating between the narrow and wide squats. From the side, I guess it shouldn't really look, you shouldn't really be able to tell what I'm doing really, because I'm just doing constant squats from the side, but in case that helped you at all. So a little coordination, just remembering what side to go on each time. Take it slow and steady. Where people I think get tripped up with this and the form gets funky is if they are trying to go too fast and they're stepping out into their wide squat, but they're not stopping and getting into position before they do the squat. What happens then is their squat gets kind of like wonky. See how I did that? Because they're kind of not, they're doing like a weird sideways, icky, hip out, because they're going too fast. Put your foot out, get your body set, do a normal squat, step back in, get your body set, normal squat, step out, pause, normal squat. So if you find yourself going too fast and like you're kind of just, your legs should always just be in that nice normal squat pattern. So your coaches will watch you and kind of let you know if maybe that's happening. Maybe the coaches can put that station near a mirror so you can watch yourself. But let's give this new one a try. Okay, this one's kind of fun. Anti-rotation alphabet. So it's a shoulder, a little bit of chest, and a lot of core stability exercise. So the anti-rotation is exactly what it sounds like. We're trying to not rotate at the core, at the trunk at all. So we're trying to keep that actually still. All the movement, and it's minimal movement, is going to be with the arms. So the movement is only going to be from the shoulders. So we have a band tied up to the side of us. I guess I'm a little farther away than I want it to be from, okay, the camera. Okay, so the anchor is tied up to my side. Step out from the anchor point until it feels like it's just as much tension as you can handle. It's a little much for me, so I'm actually going to step in just a tiny bit. Arms are locked in straight. See, my arms are straight, so we don't want any bent elbows. Okay, I'm overlapping my hands on the handle. In chest height, shoulder height, so I'm not down too low, not up too high. Okay, that's our starting position. And again, we're trying not to rotate, meaning so we're not rotating out to the side, or we're not allowing to rotate in this way. And we're going to draw the alphabet with our hands. No one is going to be able to tell you're doing the alphabet. So you can draw, you can write your name, you can write your kids' names, your grandkids' names, you can write whatever you want. So I'm going to draw letter A. Yes, trust me, that was an A. And now I'm going to draw a capital letter B. I'm going to draw letter C, D, and so on. Notice how all that was moving was my shoulders and my arms. I'm going to show you a couple with too much movement, too much rotation in my trunk, my torso. They're just too big. Okay, so that was exaggerated to get my point across, but you see how I was moving? I was twisting and rotating. Remember, the name of this is anti-rotation. So we're trying not to do any rotating or twisting with the torso, just moving the arms from the shoulder socket. So that one for 45 seconds, if you're stepped out far enough with enough tension on your band, is going to get nice and tiring in that core, nice and tiring in your shoulders. Again, just like the half kneel shoulder press earlier. Oh, I'm sorry, not like that. It's almost going to be too tiring for 45 seconds on one side. Since it's such an easy switch, all you have to do is turn around. Halfway through the set, we are going to turn around full 180 the other direction and switch sides halfway through. Next station is going to be a medicine ball exercise. I'm going to leave this up to trainer's choice this week because there's so many things I tend to do the same. We have medicine ball slams. We have a side-to-side sledgehammer. It's going to be a cardio move with the medicine ball, but again, it's going to be your trainer gets to choose on this one this week. Last station is core. Now, this is one we've not done in Defy, and it's one that I hesitate to do with all of my clients. I don't care the age group because people don't do it right. But we're going to try it. It's a great core exercise. It's incorporating old-fashioned crunches. But we see crunches done wrong in the fitness industry a lot. People jerk too fast. And what did I do just there? I was yanking my head, cranking at my neck. None of that is effectively hitting your abs, first of all. And it's involving too many other things that could lead to injury. And it's just not done correctly. So myself and then your coach live in person, we're going to try to do some really good cues for you to hopefully make this really effective. We're doing a cross body crunch as well. So you have more support and it's a little more isolated. So we're going to put what's the best direction to go to? Okay, this direction. One leg over the other, just like the start of a piriformis stretch, right? So you guys know this position. I put my right leg up. So my right arm is just going to go out to the side here. Just out to the side. I'm going to put my left hand behind my head for supporting my head and my neck. So my right knee is up. I'm going to bring my left shoulder in the direction of my right knee. So that's the cross body components in the name. Okay. So it's important to not go too fast. And we're not just thinking of yanking the upper body up like this, going really fast. Okay, none of that was either A, good, B, effective, 3, safe. Okay, did I say A, B, and 3? Okay, so anyways. So anyway, so your hand is just behind your head for support. It's not there to lift your upper body. That is so important. This hand is not, I'm not using my arm strength to lift my head and my upper body, okay? It's there for support. So I'm going to take a nice deep breath, and I'm using the strength of my core using these muscles to try to lift my head and my shoulder off the floor, just in that little bit of that direction towards my right knee, right? Little bit of an angle towards that right knee. And exhale. Back down, rest for a moment, deep breath. As you're in that lifted position, I want you to feel like you're really pulling your belly button down to the floor. That supports your tailbone and your lower back, okay? So it's a very subtle angle. I'm going to do a couple. Taking that deep breath in every time at the bottom. Inhale here. Again, my hand is just behind my head for support, not for like lifting and yanking and jerking. And you're never tucking your chin like excessively into your chest. So you're never jerking or pulling that even hurt, yanking your head. So I've learned a good little trick is to kind of picture like you're trying to kiss your kiss your knee with your lips. So I'm trying to reach my shin, my face towards my knee, not like trying to reach my face towards the floor, towards my torso. All these are just little cues I'm trying to help. So I'll show you just a couple. I know this is getting long. Show you a couple from the other side, so maybe that'll help give you a different angle. This arm now is out to the side, supporting my head with my hand, pulling my belly button down as I lift my torso up, using the strength of these muscles, not using this arm. Again, I could even move this hand to show you that I'm not using the strength of this arm to yank my head. It's simply there supporting my neck so I don't strain my neck. Keeping this face like I'm trying to kiss my knee with my lips, so I'm not tucking my chin down too much. So that was a long demo. I know that. But again, I think most seasoned trainers agree, like we just don't do crunches with people because they're typically done very, very wrong. So I wanted to give you guys I know everyone wants to work their abs and crunches are great. So I wanted to give a nice long demo on how to do those properly. Crunches aren't inherently a bad exercise. They're just done incorrectly very often. So if we can do them right, we can toss them in, we can do them. Okay. Now, for anyone who can't get onto the floor, it's going to be a very different exercise for you. That's okay. Act different, but just as effective. You're going to need some sort of an incline like this. Going to be in a high plank like this. You can have a little bit of butt up for this, a little bit, not a ton. I mean, we don't want to be like this. And you're going to do a cross body like mountain climber slow motion. So I'm going to bring my left knee towards my right elbow. Don't have to touch the elbow, and then vice versa. So I'm twisting my body, so we're still getting that cross body component. Every time I bring my knee up, I'm crunching into those abdominals, so I'm still getting that crunch. Go slow and controlled. This is not a cardio move. It's not going for speed like a mountain climber. Look out for getting too far back here, though. This is what we don't want. We always want shoulders stacked over relatively almost right on top of the hands. So keep your body up close to your hands. And we're just bringing that knee towards in the direction of the opposite elbow. And I'm feeling those abs from those few reps. That was a really long demo for those, so thanks for bearing with me. But I hope I really got the point across on how to do those crunches safely. All right, our team builder and our finisher. I have instructed the coaches to pick a long route throughout the club that doesn't get too in the way of other fellow gym members. That has some twists and turns and windy ways for a single arm racked kettlebell carry. This is great for the shoulder, oblique muscles, overall core, stability. So it's got a lot of components. So got our kettlebell. And your coach will go over with you how to properly hold this. And we've done a racked position. If you've been with us for a long time, you've been instructed on this before. But we pick it up, and we can use your other hand for assistance to kind of rotate it around the arm. See how it kind of rotated around the forearm. And we kind of rest it in the V. I call it the elbow pit. That's kind of my name for it. It's like the pit of your elbow. Kind of rest it in that V between your forearm and your bicep. And it's not way back here. It's not on the shoulder. It's not like this. It's not way back here. So the arm is angled downward. Elbow is kind of like an arrow pointing at kitty corner downward. All right. And you want the corner of the kettlebell handle to be resting comfortably between your thumb and your pointer finger. And that's a more proper rack position for a kettlebell. And the heavier you go, obviously, the more of the shoulder muscle you're going to feel. A little bit of chest pec right here and a lot of core on the side of the kettlebell. Okay. After that, whatever route your coach has shown you in your gym, you're going to go for a nice controlled walk, keeping your chest up tall. So we're not just, if your kettlebell is too heavy and you slouch, it's going to, guess what? So you got to keep up nice and tall spine. We're going to do one lap one side. Once you get back, switch one lap the other side. It's not a race, so we're not going for time or anything. We're just all going for one lap on each arm, and that is our finisher today. And that concludes week 37. I hope everyone is enjoying the new warm-up and cool-down. I know there are some new moves, so it takes a couple of weeks to sort of get acclimated to those, but I hope you're enjoying them. And I will see everyone back in week 38.